Hey guys, this is Jace with MuseGrid.com, and in this video I'm going to give you a complete breakdown of our Code Injector widget. Have you ever been in a situation where you need to install a third-party plugin of some sort, and they're instructing you to install it either in the opening body tag or just before the closing body tag, or for that matter even in the head section of your site, and you don't know how to go do that, or for that matter you don't have access to do that? That's where the Code Injector widget comes into play. So what we're going to do is, what you should have already done is downloaded the Code Injector mulib file, double-clicked on it, and it would have installed directly inside of your library panel just like so. It'll look exactly like this once you downloaded it and installed it. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to install this here. Get this over to Google Chrome. There we go. That's what we're going to install. We're actually going to install Add This. If you're not familiar with Add This, it allows you to add social sharing and various other things to your site. But one of the things that it asks us to do is copy this code here, and it wants us to install it just before the closing body tag. Well, unfortunately, there's no place to do that inside of Adobe Muse, so the Code Injector widget comes to the rescue. So here's what we're going to do first. We're first going to grab our Code Injector widget, and we're just going to drag it out to page. Now, I like to kind of put my Code Injector widgets up off the design canvas just a bit, just because it makes it easier for me to manage my design canvas because it's out of the way. What you see on screen here will not render to page. It'll only stay on the design canvas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my Code Injector options, and first what you'll see here is at the top there's an instructions block that you'll see that gives you a little bit of an overview and also gives you these added instructions. Why 4 text fields? Well, you haven't actually seen the 4 text fields just yet, so we'll come back to this in just a moment. Now, the next thing that we can do is we can give this a name. So in our case, we're going to add the Add This plugin. So we're going to say Add This, do it together, Add This installer. We'll just call it that for lack of a better term. Right, and we are going to make that, I don't know, we'll make it orange. I think Add This site was orange if I wasn't mistaken. Okay, so here's the Code Injector, and then we've just named it Add This installer. And if you noticed a while ago that what they wanted us to be able to do was add it to the closing body tag. So what we want to do is enable the closed body code block, which we've checked here, and you'll see that it now opens up the closed body section. So what we're going to do is expand that down, and now you see the 4 text fields that was referenced in the instructions up here at the top. Now, why 4 text fields? The thing is Muse limits each one of these text field inputs to 1,024 characters. So that's the most that you can include in. Well, some embeds or some third-party plugins have embed codes that extend way beyond 1,024 characters. Now, the only thing you'll have to keep in mind is that you're only going to be able to put 1,024 characters in this one, and in this one, and in this one. So you're going to need to split up your embed code so that you put, the first portion of it here, second portion of it here, and if you need a third and fourth portion, you can. But typically, you can get away with over 4,000 characters. Should usually get about any embed you want to be included, embedded in properly. What I want to make sure that's really clear here is what we recommend is that whenever you use Code Injector, you're using it for its single intended purpose per install. So in this case, we're installing the Add This installer. That is the only thing that will ever go in here. And so we have no need to enable the head code block or the opening code block at all. We just need to focus on this body section, or closing body section. So what I'm going to do is just kind of close that out for a second, and I'm going to go back to my browser really quick, and I'm going to copy this code block. Now, you'll see that this is nowhere near 1,024 characters, so the good news is in my use case, I'm not going to need to split this embed up. So again, I have this enabled. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to come in here, and I'm just going to simply paste, just like that. Okay, now that I have that pasted, I have now installed Add This to the closing body section of my page. So just to kind of give a general idea of what this looks like and why this is important, we're going to do a quick Command-Shift-E. We're going to preview in browser. As you can see, there's nothing to see because it's just code behind the scenes that needs to be installed. But if we go to View Web Page, And remember, we got to scroll down here to the bottom. What you'll find is that down here, here's our closing body tag, and just inside it, you can see now that the add this code has been properly installed, and of course, now add this is happy. So they're good to go now. So now that we've done that, you're in great shape. Now that the add this code block is installed. So now what I want to do is I want to go back to my Muse project here, and I want to maybe give you a couple of other use cases, even though I don't have the code here to show you, a couple of other use cases why this is important. So let's say you have the add this installer in, but we also need to come in here and add another snippet of code, and this one is actually going to be Google Analytics. So there's really no need for you to have a custom Google Analytics widget when in fact you just have the embed and you just need to embed it in. So in this case we're going to call this one Google Analytics. Now you may be wondering, okay, well why would we need to use Code Injector for something like Google Analytics? Because we have access to the head section of the web page that we're working off of. Why do we need to come down here and click Enable Head Code and now use one of these head code blocks, as opposed to doing something like this, going to page properties, and then metadata, and here you go. So here's a head section that you could use here. You absolutely could go either way. There is no reason why you have to use our Code Injector if you need to put stuff inside the head section of your web page. However, the reason why we included it is because unless you use our Code Injector with the head section enabled, you have no visual representation at all on your design canvas of what's been installed inside the site. Obviously, if you have everything inside the page settings that I just showed you a while ago, you can't see that out here anywhere. You have no idea what's installed. Well, in our use case, there actually is. So here's Google Analytics, and of course, again, we can come in here, do this, and then paste our embed code for Google Analytics here. But let's pick another one, right? Let's drag another one out that says, okay, now we want to also install a Facebook pixel, because anybody that comes to our web page needs to be tracked with a Facebook pixel. Let's just do the same thing. Let's call it Facebook pixel. Let's make it blue, and that also is going to go into the head section just like that. And of course, you'll paste in your head section content here for a Facebook pixel. You can do this for any third-party embed that you want whatsoever, but it doesn't even have to be third-party embeds. It could be anything that you need to go into the head section, the opening body section, or the closed body section. Now guys, that is the Code Injector and how it helps you add new functionality to your Adobe Muse websites.